Hey, Book Dragons. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Spine Bookcast. I have one of literally my favorite people in the entire flipping world, Loyd Elmore Jr. And you've been on here, what, 3 times now?
Yes,
3 times.
this
You're
is try.
you're my try number 3.
I am number three. It's my lucky number too.
Well, yeah, well, okay, so you're the one person who's been on here the most.
Hey, awesome.
Okay, yay. So, what do you want to talk about? Since you've
Uh,
been on here 3 times, you've already asked the question. So, what do you want to talk about?
well, I had brought up the idea a while back of like the psychology of why certain people read the things they do and write the things they do. But
Sure.
honestly, I got to thinking about it, and I'm not a psychologist. I dabble.
You dabble.
I think most writers are.
I think you have to.
Yeah, you have to. To get a character relatable, you have to give them their own psyche.
Well, you and I've talked about it before. How if if you're writing and you're blowing smoke up a reader's ass, the reader is going to know
Yeah, they're going to close the book
every single time.
and say, "What a waste of time this was."
You guys may hear my dogs whining in the background. They want to come up and play with Uncle Lloyd, but all you would do-
Lloyd.
yeah. Well, Corinne calls you Lloyd.
Okay.
I told her, I was like, Lloyd's coming over for the podcast this morning. She goes, Lloyd? And I was like, yes, Lloyd.
I can be Uncle Lloyd. So
No, I
yeah.
think that you do have to be somewhat attuned to what makes people tick, so that the way that you write makes them either feel in tune with your character or have some kind of emotional reaction to your character, whether it be absolute straight blind loathing like Joffrey in Game of Thrones, or adoration like any book boyfriend that all the TikTok girlies were all completely obsessed. And I've decided where that's come from.
Okay.
I have a theory on where the whole morally gray bad guy book boyfriend obsession has come from. So we went to go see Labyrinth the other night, played at TPAC like with a band, right? They played all the music with the band.
Nice.
And I remember the first time I saw Labyrinth with David Bowie, I think I was like 10 or 11. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, but I knew I wanted one. When he was that, it's one of the best entrances in any movie, and if you disagree with me, we'll fight. When those doors blow open and the curtains are blowing, and he steps in, looking all badass.
It's David Bowie.
I mean, and I remember sitting there going, I want one. I don't know what I want to do with it because I'm only 11 years old, but I had no business watching that movie that late at night.
Well, yeah, okay. Imaginations run wild right there. Yeah. Well, I think one of the scariest things, especially for writers, is that, especially if you have a protagonist in your book, and you have to delve within yourself.
Sure.
Because all those feelings and emotions are in there. We might live a good life,
Yeah.
and give to charity.
Sure.
Stop at crosswalks, but there's a part of us inside that want to steal from charities and want to run the people over that's in the crosswalk.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's got a dark side.
We have to make our decisions,
which is why I think like there's this whole resurgence of dark romance, especially and I don't know if this goes for guys. I can only speak for women, but I know for women, the whole morally gray bad guy that I'm going to burn the world to the ground because you looked at her funny. Like, what's the quote? The hero will sacrifice you to save the world, but the villain will sacrifice the world to save you. I'm all for that.
Okay, yeah. Or if you want to also quote, if you want to quote a movie, what was it, Dark Knight, about the bad guy. Or the good guy live long enough to become the bad guy. I forgot how it goes. Please don't kill me.
I'm letting my dog in. Hang on, because otherwise she's just going to sit here and whine.
She has left the computer.
So, yeah, the quote is, if you're the hero, eventually you will live long enough to become the villain.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah. So we've let the dogs up. Welcome to podcasting at home.
So Lindsay let the dogs out.
Yes, that way they'd stop whining. No, and okay, so speaking of villains, so have you watched the new Daredevil yet?
Of course.
Vincent D'Onofrio plays
Yes.
Kingpin.
Yes.
I love Kingpin.
Yes.
Because even so, in my favorite, everybody's like, oh, he's the bad guy. Yes, but he has a moral code. Because that scene where he wants that painting back and he goes to the woman's house and finds out that her father was a Holocaust victim, and like that's the line for him. He may be a disreputable piece of shit, but he's not going to take from a Holocaust victim. There's a line,
Right.
Which and he has a reason for doing what he's doing. It's not just blanket psychotic. I want to watch the world burn. No. I have a reason for doing all of this. And I love a morally gray character that has a reason for doing things.
Okay. We want the bad guy to be relatable, so that we can kind of get inside their head and go, okay, I don't condone what they're doing, but I understand. But they're
the dogs, get downstairs.
They like me.
I know.
But I also like the bad guy that doesn't have that.
Really?
To bring up Dark Knight again, the Agent of Chaos.
Oh yeah.
And
with Michael Caine saying some people just want to watch the world burn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's one right now. We won't go into that.
We all know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not. Yeah. I can't.
I just call him by one particular number, which is 8647.
Why that?
Well, the term 86 is to get rid of something, and well, he's 47.
Oh, that's a good. Oh, that's high five, sir.
8647.
That is a good job. See, this is why we're friends.
I think I stole that from somebody.
I don't care.
I'll take claim.
That's freaking brilliant.
So yeah,
I call him Cheeto Hitler, or the Devil Carrot, or the Angry Orange.
Devil.
Or the moldy sweet potato.
Moldy sweet potato.
Or
with the bad comb.
Mango Mussolini.
Good one. I like that.
There's a whole bunch of names.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are those type of characters, and I've been writing something that has one of those characters in it.
I think my villain is going to end up being something like that in my book. You get a little bit of a glimpse of it in book 1, but I think by book 3, he's literally just going to be like, fuck it.
Is this type of character that would destroy the world and him in it, or this person in it, if it meant that in a way he wins?
He wants to win regardless, no matter what the cost.
Okay. I like characters like that.
Yeah.
I like Ultimate Evil.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like Ultimate Evil.
But in a book, yeah.
Yeah.
Like in real life, I wouldn't really want someone to like kill everybody for me. But in an imaginary story, it's hot.
To lay waste for love.
To lay waste for love.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what is it? Keanu Reeves, like Drew Barrymore was talking to him in an interview, and he was like, she's like, yeah, you're a lover, not a fighter. He goes, no, I'm a fighter. Because if you're not fighting,
what kind of love do you have, or something?
If you're not gonna fight for love, what kind of love do you have? Or
yeah.
something. I remember I was on the floor like that.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. That's every day.
Yeah.
It needs to be every day.
But I also, so speaking of morally gray, so I also like the fact that a lot of the morally gray characters, although they do want to burn the world to the ground for their person, they also trust their person to handle it too. Like, take, for example, Rhysand from Court of Thorns and Roses.
Okay.
Okay? I know you haven't read it, but Feyre, he's like, I know you have it. Just let me know if you need me to back up. And then she does something really awesome. He's like, that's mine. Look at her go. Like, I love that he is fully capable of burning the world to the ground, but she wants to do it. So he's just going to sit back and watch proudly. And if she needs help, he'll help her. But he just, that's mine. Look at her go.
I like
that.
that.
Is sexy. That's, oh my God.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love character depth. I think all of this is to say, you and I both like character depth.
Of course. Of course. I like backstory. I like character experience and why they are the way they are. And I try to write that in everything that I write, unless it's a short story. And then I still hint at it.
Well, like the book that I'm writing, my first book, 15 chapters before you know their first names.
Yes.
And I did it on purpose. Because before they trust each other, they both have massive, debilitating trust issues. But I feel like when they give each other their names, you get their names too, so that you're going along the journey with them.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. Since God. I have beta readed this story so far.
Okay.
How much of that did you pull from your own life?
I did not realize that I wrote the female character resembling me until I went back and reread it. And I had moments of, oops.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
But I don't mind it so much.
Yeah.
Because I like Sophia. I like her. Because she's a hard ass. But when you meet her, she's tired. She's just so tired.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to write a proper character, you can't just mine the diamonds. You have to mine through the trash too.
And I think that the first book is a lot about her. The second book is going to be a lot about him and his issues. And so, like, I purposefully put his prologue in her book. Her prologue goes in his book.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of got the sense of that at the very end.
Yeah.
When I read it. So, yeah. Unless you've changed that.
No. Okay. So, the only thing I've done is I've added more of Ember.
Okay. Okay.
I added more of Ember. Because I based Ember off Giles from Buffy.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to give characters voices in my head. And
I think Mr. Belvedere.
Okay. Or, you know what? That's oddly close to what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't Belvedere, but it was something like that.
And so I was doing character mock-ups. And I was using AI for character mock-ups so that I can hand it to my illustrator and be like, this was my idea. Make it your own. But this is kind of what I had in mind, for all my characters and stuff. And very much ended up, without me even meaning to, ended up being very much a younger version of Giles. Almost like Giles and Wesley combined. Because I've been rewatching Buffy a little bit.
Okay.
And I didn't, and then you'll get to his twin, and she's very much Mrs. Potts.
Okay.
Everyone's darling, or now sweetie.
Okay.
Okay. And she goes, now Amber. He's just cranky. Because did you laugh at some parts?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Because I wanted there to be laughter at some points.
Yeah.
And like when I was reading it to Amanda, she would laugh out loud, and I was like, oh, thank God, that's where I wanted to laugh. Okay, good.
I think all writers feel that
way. It's terrible. I have somebody line editing it right now. It's terrifying.
Of course it is.
Because every about 20 minutes, I can tell when she starts editing because I'll get a ping on my phone. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, you get that tightness in your gut. It's like, what if I screwed up?
Mm-hmm.
What do
But
I
I
have to
told her
change?
that's what I told all of you guys. That's what I wanted. I want give me all the good stuff as well. And I did more world building because of you.
Good.
And I have a map because of you.
Okay.
Like I literally sat down with the path in the book, and I did the path on the map.
You gonna put it in the book?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you went Tolkien on it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
totally did.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's in that. For me, it's in that genre. You know.
I really wanted to be more immersive about it.
Yeah. Just don't start doing Tolkien and making up your own
Oh
languages.
Jesus,
and,
no! So somebody asked me if I was going to do that with this book. I was like, I don't want to come up with a whole system of gods and languages. I don't even believe in it.
No. You know, if you didn't have to do anything but write for a living,
then
and you had as much time, and sure, it'll take 3 years to write it.
No,
of course.
Well, I wrote this in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because remember, I told you. Remember, I called you and Zoe both because I was using AI to come up with D&D scenarios. And when I went back and started reading it, I was like, oh shit, this might actually be a really good book. And I've had 3 attempts at writing. The first one I lost 3 times and I just can't rewrite it again. I just can't do it. I can't do it. And the second one, I got started and it was like, okay, now what? Like it was a great idea, but I couldn't get it going. With this one, when I realized it was a book, I deleted all of the AI material after I talked to you and Zoe. And then just in 2 weeks, cranked it out.
Okay.
I already know how the third book is going to end. I know how it's going to happen in the second book. And like, so if Darth is, not Darth, not Darth. Who was it on TikTok that helped me? Malachi. I literally had a 30-minute conversation with Malachi yesterday on how, like, if you were going to teach someone how to start fighting, self-defense wise. Because there's this whole scene in book 2 where he's like, look, I've got to teach you how to defend yourself because... And then I have another writer who knows knives. So I was like, okay, talk to me about what kind of knife would you give a woman and blah, 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 blah. So I've literally leaned on a bunch of you authors, like, help me out with this.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And then all 9 of my female friends are in the book as well because I needed a coven.
Okay.
So it is important. It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
So
how many books you got planned on?
3.
Reading or writing?
3.
So you got 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm halfway through the second one.
Okay.
So
what about after that?
I don't know. I think I have an idea where the voice of the person in chapter 1 is the victim who was killed. And then each chapter is someone else that has to do with what happened to her. But you don't find out who the killer is until the very last chapter. Because that's the voice that you hear.
Okay.
I gotta work it out though.
You got time.
I have an idea. I just gotta work it out.
Okay. Cool.
What about you? What do you got cooking? That's a sigh. Let me tell y'all something about Loyd before we get started. Loyd cranks out like 10 books in the amount of time that one person cranks out one book. It is ridiculous.
I'm afraid to set too long without writing. Like
it's fair.
Right now I'm writing my 15th book. Though I've only published 9.
Listen to that. 15
Oh, there
books.
are people who've read the independent authors I know that is way past that. But
really,
yeah. I don't know how they do it.
You crank them out really. My favorite is still the first book you ever wrote.
Well, thanks.
No, it's.
I mean, it's a compliment, and it kind of hurts at the same time.
It's not. I don't mean it that way. I mean it because the stories, every time I read them, they're just. I want them in a TV series so bad.
Me too. But yeah, right now I'm writing a book called Parallel Detective Agency. To this morning, I just passed over 50,000 words. I've got.
Nicely
I'm
done.
going to try to be done by the end of or middle of May, and then work on a story I was going to turn into a book, and then it started to end too quickly, and I was going to put it in the next short story book, and I've reread what I've written, and I'm thinking, no, it can be a book, so that will happen. I'll finish that, and then the fifth Malinville book before the end of the year, before I start editing the third Malinville book, which will be published in October.
Okay. We're going to have to have a release party.
Of course.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. Y'all, if y'all want a really good, so he always rolls his eyes when I say this,
Okay.
but you do. But the first time that I read a book by Loyd was Spaces Between Spaces. And I've always said that it's as if Ray Bradbury, Alfred Hitchcock, and the Twilight Zone had a threesome, and they were able to have a progeny. This is what it would be.
Somebody got added to that. Who got added? It was
Stephen
originally
King.
It was originally just two people
It
having
was
sex.
it was
and
Ray
then
Bradbury,
Now it's a threesome.
Alfred Hitchcock, Stephen King, and Twilight Zone. What's his name?
Rod Serling.
Rod Serling.
Oh, now it's
all
a
four of
foursome.
them. It's a. I'm telling because all four. Because I mean, I've watched Alfred Hitchcock Presents recently, and I occasionally go back and rewatch Twilight Zone, and of course Stephen King is just god tier.
I'll tell you something. You know, I've seen every episode of The Twilight Zone.
Me too.
I've seen every episode of Outer Limits, Tales from the Crypt.
Also great.
All
Friday
those,
the 13th.
Yeah, no.
Tales from the Dark Side.
Tales from the Dark Side, yes.
Like all of those series.
I have never seen an episode of
Shut up.
of
Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred.
Are you
I've
shitting
watched
me?
every movie, but I have never
Oh
watched
my
the show.
God.
Never watched
To
the
me,
show.
it's like the Twilight Zone on steroids. Because it just goes a little bit creepier.
I know what the theme looks like
Yeah.
when it does the silhouette. and
You are missing out.
I may go back to that. I may
You
find
really,
them
really should. They're excellent.
because I like him, especially the birds. I love the birds.
Oh, well, you know that he almost caused T.P. Hedren to have a mental breakdown because of the scene in the phone booth, right? He made her do it so many times that he nearly caused her to have a mental breakdown, and it was because she wouldn't go out with him.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he
Was
was
he
a
married?
woman.
I thought he was.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was married.
He had a
and
thing for
still-
blondes.
His
He had
wife,
a thing for Grace Kelly,
Yeah.
and then when she quit acting, he went on to Tippi Hedren and Marnie. What's her name? Is that also Tippi Hedren? Or is that somebody else? I
Was
can't
that
remember.
in the movie?
Marnie?
The movie they made about Alfred Hitchcock.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah,
his
he had a
wife.
thing for ice cold blondes.
He would have loved Marilyn.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Jane Mansfield.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, I got to see his granddaughter talk.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
That is very cool.
Oh, yeah. He was a womanizer.
You know, I hate to. I'm not trying to make. I'm not trying to defend the man, but there was a lot of men then who was exactly that, and then the women were expected to. Please don't do that again and try to go back to life as normal bullshit.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sorry. Fuck.
Oh, God, no. Really? You're going to apologize? Do you know how many times I cuss on this podcast? Please. We've been friends far too long for that.
Yeah, I fucking know that. So yeah.
If you could cast any of your books into a movie, I'm fairly certain I already know this, but which one would you cast?
Of course it would be Malinville because
Of course it would.
It takes up. It's going to take up a lot more.
I
time
really
of
think
my
it
life.
should be God, it would make such a good series.
And the way I write, and I guess it's not too different than anybody else that writes, but I put faces to characters.
Sure.
Whether it's somebody I know in real life or it's movies
Sure.
or whatever.
Sure.
And I have mentioned it before, but I've debated on telling people who I think is the character because that might ruin what they think.
I have an idea for who I would cast as your female character.
Mary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jessica Chastain. I could see her doing it. That or Ron Howard's daughter. What's her name?
Oh, God.
Yeah, her. Either one of those two, I could see her do it.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Bryce
Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a crush on both of them.
Oh, I do too. More Bryce than Jessica, even though I love Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's not who.
Who would you cast? I'm curious.
Well, Mary is more than just the name. I hate
Sure.
it. It almost sounds like I tried to go biblically with it, but it
No,
really
no,
didn't.
I know.
But Mary Elizabeth Winston is my mental vision.
Okay, now I gotta look this
Mary.
up because I can't.
She's married to Ewan McGregor right now.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Lucky bastard.
Because all I'm doing is looking at Ewan McGregor.
Sky High. She was the bad guy in Sky High.
Mary Elizabeth
She
Winston.
was in the remake prequel of The Thing.
Yeah, okay. She's cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's taller than she looks. She's like almost.
No, I can see that.
She's like 5'10" or something.
No. I can see that. Oh, she was in Death Proof. That's why I know her.
Yeah, she played the
Okay.
cheerleader.
No. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. No, I can see her. I can see. Who'd you cast as the main guy?
Me. Felix is me.
Yeah. Oh, I
Felix is at
just
least,
like Sophia is me.
Felix is like 85% me, which basically makes it me.
Mm-hmm. One of my writers, Heather, has better read mine, and she calls me and she goes, "This is you, right?" I was like, "Yeah."
Even if you didn't intend that,
yeah,
it bled you.
Oh, all over the place.
Yeah. You have to put yourself into it.
I think so too.
Not only do you mind what's inside and your experiences, you have to put you into it. It's got to give it. You got to give it life, you know.
Yeah.
And hope that you are enough.
I love Malin Vildo. Man, I really do.
Thank you.
It's such a cool story.
It's fun.
If y'all haven't read Malin Vildo, it reminds me of The Borrowers meets Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim.
Yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close.
And I've just reread both of those.
Okay.
And I still stand by it.
Thank you.
I think it would make an excellent TV series.
I would too. A season, a book.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean.
But if you let them change any of the major plot points when they make this, and I will kill you.
Well, look, I have thought about this.
So sick of Hollywood doing that.
I've thought about this. That's usually what happens. The movies have to change the book.
And sometimes that's fair. And I get that. Like Ready Player One. Totally get why they made the changes that they did.
Who is it that didn't like that? It was just recently on your podcast. And I was listening. I was like, really? I mean, that's his opinion, but...
I can't remember.
I'm not trying to start a fight or anything.
No, I can't remember. But I completely get why. Because nobody's going to watch a movie where a guy plays video games for 3 hours.
Right.
So I totally get why they made the changes they did. 100%.
They become two separate entities.
Sure.
It's sometimes, and it's rare, but sometimes, the book is the lesser than.
Yes, and I have a book for that. I never thought.
Two.
So, have you ever read Beastly?
No.
Okay. So it's an author, and I can't come up with what her name is right now, but she's basically retold all the princess, the princess prince stories, Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty, okay? And she's put kind of a teenage spin on all of them, but she does it in a way that's not MTV to death.
Okay.
And so I read the book Beastly, and then I was like, okay, that's a really good book. And then I watched the movie, and they made some tweaks to it. Superb better. It's so, and you will never hear me. It's the only movie I've ever said that about. But the way that they made him look in the book, versus the detail that they put in on Alex Pettyfer's scars and stuff in the movie. Holy shit! It was 9-day difference. It was so good. God, it was so good.
And that's rare. Yeah. For the movie to go, wow, it has stepped it up.
So much.
Yeah. Like for me, the two is, well, I probably said it before on this podcast, and I've said it before in real life. but The Shawshank Redemption
Which I agree with.
and The Green Mile.
Which I agree with. You and I talked about that before. Both of them superb.
Yeah, the novella of Rita Hayworth in The Shawshank Redemption by Stephen King is great, but the movie puts the heart into it and makes you weep.
Oh God!
And The Green Mile, of course, is the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Well, so like when I read Where the Crawdads Sing.
Okay, yeah.
That book is a love story to the Carolinas.
It is. I haven't read the book, but
beautiful.
Mindy has.
Oh my God. I have never bought a hard copy of a book so fast in my entire life.
Okay.
And then a friend of mine, they were making the movie and both of us went, the fuck you are? Because how are you going to make that into a movie and not royally screw it up? There is no way, because it's such a beautiful, beautiful story. And it's not even just about the main female character. It's also about the love of nature in the Carolinas and the animals and the flowers and, you know, like.
I don't know who directed that movie, but they had to have been a fan of that book.
Yes.
And absolutely loved it. Not because of the money,
but because of the
they
story.
Truly did.
Because when we went to go see it, I was fully prepared for that movie to just ruin it. And I bought it the day it came out. I really want to rewatch it again. But I will say, because you know me, I have no filter. None at all.
No.
So we're sitting there, and the first time that she sleeps with the guy that's in the movie, it was like 2 pumps, and that was it. And I remember we were sitting there.
Well, that's quite possibly true life.
It is. But I remember sitting there in the movie theater going, okay, 2 pump chomp, and burst out laughing because it was out of my mouth before I even realized you shouldn't say that in a dark theater. And then Jessica and I both burst out laughing, and the rest of the theater burst out laughing because everybody had the exact same thought. I was just the only one that verbalized it. And for about 30 seconds, the entire theater roared with laughter.
Yeah, there's probably some people who roared with laughter from, life experience. Yeah, no shit, right?
I was like, God, that's it?
Wives looking at their husbands like,
oh, God. But Jessica and I absolutely died laughing. I was like, okay. But I think that they did a beautiful job with that movie, especially with the main female character's relationship to nature and her love of it, and showing that on screen. I thought was superb.
Yeah. You've got to be a fan to do it.
Oh yeah,
justice.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'll eventually get around to reading.
I think you would really love it. I really do.
Because I love the movie.
I think that you would love that book. The movie does a hell of a job. The book is like 10,000 times. They're both so good.
Yeah. And that's usually the way it happens sometimes. Like I'll see the movie and then I'll get the book. And it started when I was a kid, when I would go see Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And then at Kroger or at Walmart, they would have the paperback novelization of the book or the movie. And I had to read it too.
I think I need to. I had never read Game of Thrones.
I haven't either.
And I
attempted it.
You're right. I did too. And I could not keep up because I'd already seen the first 2 seasons and it was basically a retelling of what had happened and it was boring. But now that I know he hasn't finished it, I'm not picking him up because it'll piss me off if I get to that last book and he's not done.
He's not given up, has he?
I don't think so.
He was supposed to be. What is the next one that he's supposed to be writing for the past 900 years?
Well, so do you know the woman that L.J. Smith did the Vampire Diaries, right?
I don't know.
Okay, well, she did. She also wrote a series of 9 books called The Strange Fate Stories. Okay. So it's 9 books and they're all like vampires and werewolves and witches and like the whole fantasy genre, like all of them, right? Okay. But you start with 1 and then you get to 2 and 2 mentions 1 and then you get to book 3 and there are hints of 1 and 2 in book 3 and it just builds up, right?
Yeah.
And by the 7th or 8th book, characters start interacting with each other from previous books, right? Okay. So the 10th book has supposed to have been coming out. It's been 25 years. It's still not freaking out. And the 10th book was supposed to wrap up all 9 books into like, still not freaking out. I swear to God.
Are they working on it?
I don't know. Rumor has it's already written. We released a damn book. We're all die. I have every book she's ever written.
Yeah.
She doesn't really. If I die and that book doesn't release, I'm going to haunt her. Here we go. Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm going to haunt her because I have been waiting for that book to come out for 25 plus years.
I don't realize he was at the house.
That's okay. And y'all, this is my daughter, Corrine.
Get out.
You get out.
I have a question. Do we have Cage the Elephant in the record sensor?
No, we don't, but we can get it in McKay's today.
Dog, will you stop?
She didn't call me Loyd.
No, she didn't call you Loyd.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Lloyd.
That's Uncle Loyd.
Uncle Loyd to you.
Yeah, anyway, there's a little Lloyd at Elmore Crossing. That's what I call that.
Oh, is there?
Apparently.
I've discovered there is a cartoon that comes on. I can't remember. It's on Nickelodeon or Disney Channel or something. It's the name of the school they go to is Elmore High School,
Mm-hmm.
which freaked me out. I've got a shirt picked out that I'm going to get that has Elmore High School on it.
You want to talk about weird? So when Overboard with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell came out, and his name was Profits, blah 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 blah, spelled the exact same way. It's my maiden name.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's every time I see it, I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to get a T-shirt with that on there.
I have the best story
Okay.
of names in movies.
Sure, let's have it.
And it happened to me, I can't remember what year it was, but I was a kid. And we had the big console TVs, big tube TVs that looked like furniture.
Yeah,
setting.
that's it. Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about.
And it was a Sunday night, and ABC would show like the movie of the week
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I remember those. I wish they'd still do those. I loved those.
And the movie that they decided to play was The Shining.
So good.
I was a young kid watching The Shining,
I've been to that hotel.
and I would love to go.
Oh my God, it's
I have
awesome.
the a keychain from that hotel that a friend of mine went to and gave it to me. I forgot the name of the number, but anyway, so I'm watching The Shining, and it comes to the scene where Jack is walking down the hall, and he's pissed off, and he walks into the ballroom where the bar is.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
Okay.
he walks up and he sits down at the bar, and he kind of, he's looking around. The camera's in front of him like this, and he's looking around, and then he looks dead at the camera, and he goes, "Hello, Loyd."
Shut up!
Kind of quiet around here, isn't it? And it freaked me the fuck out. He was looking dead into my eyes and called my name. My dad and I were the only two people I ever knew that had the name Loyd when I was a kid. He talked to me.
That is hilarious.
I went running out of the room, went to my bedroom.
Nope.
That is the king of all stories when it comes to names.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to rewatch it now because I don't remember that.
I even took that clip. I've never showed anybody. I don't know where. It's on my computer at work at home. And I added a little scene at the end of it, and I superimposed my face over the Loyd.
Did you really?
Yeah,
I
and
would
I'm going,
love to see that.
I'll have to find it.
That is awesome.
It's done very shittily, but
Oh,
I
well.
did it very quick. But I just thought
That's
it was funny.
so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I think that's part of the reason why I got into Stephen King, because I felt like he was talking to me. That and
Salem,
Christine.
Salem's Lot. That book made me a Stephen King fan for the rest of my life.
Now, how long ago was that you read it?
I think I was 10.
Okay. So you were in the mid-'80s.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I read that.
When the gravedigger is digging the grave for Billy and he can see his eyes through the coffin. Done. like freaked me out so bad. And then like when he comes up and he's scratching at the window, let me in. And it took me months to get through that book because I kept having to stop to go watch TV or something else because it just freaked me out.
Yeah.
It's still brilliant.
Yeah. For me, it was Christine. I saw the movie
I
first.
need to rewatch that.
The Christine? Oh my God. I've got it. I have that on like 3 different formats.
I feel like I want to this summer do a Stephen King marathon and rewatch a lot of those movies. Not the remakes and not the sequel, like Carrie, Christine, Firestarter, Pet Cemetery,
Yeah. I think you could skip Firestarter. I don't think it
Don't
holds.
say that because my best friend Jessica loves that damn movie and she will fight you.
She does. If she wants to, she deserves it. But I just don't feel like it holds up anymore.
Okay,
And of course, it's way better
rewatch
than
it.
the remake.
Oh yeah, no, all the remakes suck.
What a wow.
Yeah, I heard that was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. And that's the thing about writers and their books turn into movies is that you've got to leave it.
Well, I mean,
that becomes, once they pay for it, that's their thing. And I don't really think, if you think about it, I don't really think that it shits on the original story. Especially if the book is really good and the movie turns out to be, well, I wish I had not spent my money watching that.
I have several series that I've done that with that I've gotten. I was like, nope, we're not going to acknowledge that was ever in existence. And no shade to Cassandra Clare because I love every book that she's ever written. I have every book that she's ever written. But the TV show and movies they both shit the bed as far as I'm concerned. And no shade to the actors either because I love the actors in those movies. Bad casting. Terrible screenwriting. Like, did y'all read the book? Or did y'all just give us like the Temu version of that story?
Well, you've got to, people have to separate it.
I can't.
They have to
separate it. I love those
it.
books so fiercely that it's hard for me to do that. It's like when there's this rumor they're getting ready to do Akatar, right? All of us are like, if you miscast Rhysand, we will burn the world to the ground. Because that is like the pinnacle bad boyfriend. Like, it got me out of my reading slump during COVID.
Yeah.
If you miscast him, I will scorch the earth.
Who should play that person?
Oh, there's a guy, and I can't think of what his name is. It's, we'll talk and I'll look him up.
Okay.
But yeah, oh God, I love his character so much. And I like the fact of the way he plays with people. Like there's a guy on TikTok who does what a pretty little wedding.
Okay.
And the sarcasm and I don't think so. I'm calling in my bet.
Okay.
And he plays the bad guy too. Just
Okay.
Okay. So there's a couple people. There's Matthew Daddario and Avon Yoga, and I'm probably mispronouncing his name. He could do it.
Okay.
And then Matthew Daddario, he could do it.
Okay. Why does he look familiar? He looks like
he was in the City of Bones TV show. No offense to Timothy Chalamet, but if they cast Docray Montgomery could do it too. He played he could do it.
Okay. Now
Henry Cavill's too old, although Henry Cavill.
Look,
Henry Cavill could shake me like a glow stick, break my back, put me in a full body cast, and I would be like, "Does tomorrow work for you?"
That reminds me of a meme I saw this morning. I saw this meme this morning, and they said that it's like X-Men people will understand this character, Mystique. Mystique is the ultimate girlfriend. That's what it said. And it's surrounding Mystique was all the different people that she could turn into. Scarlett Johansson, whoever you wanted. And it was all women except for this one corner, and it was Henry Cavill. And I'm like, I'm a totally straight guy. It's just the way I'm wired. But I understand that. I would get that.
Oh, what is her name? I can't remember what her name is. She was in Knives Out and she played the maid. What is her name?
Oh,
Uh,
it's been a while since I've seen Knives Out or the sequel.
yeah. I'll come up with her name. Give me a second.
Third one's kind of thing.
Ana de Armas.
Oh,
every time I see her, I'm like, how straight am I?
Doesn't she play ballerina?
I'm not sure I'm as straight as I thought I was.
She's gonna, isn't she?
She's gonna be in ballerina. Yeah.
Oh,
When I saw her in the last James Bond movie, and she walks out in that black dress, it's like hanging on by a hope and a prayer. But
was that James Bond or was that?
No, she was James
John
Bond.
Wick?
No, she was in James Bond.
Okay.
She's in John Wick 2.
Wait, which
but
one?
the very last James Bond.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. That black dress that she's in. I remember when she walked into the bar, and I just remember we went, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And had a moment of, maybe I'm not as straight as I thought I was.
Well, there are people in every gender that make other genders and identification to go,
Yeah.
Maybe.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
But it is very much determined, I'm a brunette girl.
Yeah, that's kind of where I fall.
Dark hair, scruffy, tatted, a little bit of a dad bod, built like a brick shit house.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Because I was talking to somebody in TikTok the other day, one of my friends on TikTok, and I was like, I didn't really realize that I had, per se, a type until I zoomed out and looked at my Pinterest board of like the men's fashion and stuff, and I was like, tatted, bearded, little thick.
That's a type.
It's just like,
nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
It's here we can loop us back around to psychology on why we have certain types and where it came to us in adolescence. It's usually in adolescence.
Magnum PI.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. For me, the first crush I had on any actress was Christy McNichol.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
dating me.
Yeah.
I still remember the poster that my mom, for some reason, allowed me to put up. But it wasn't showing anything. She was just wearing like this silky red jacket with a white stripe and white short pants. And she's kind of looking, off to the side. I can still see that in my head.
George Michael. George all day long.
Okay.
Like, I remember laying on the floor of the babysitter's house with Jessica watching the premiere of the Faith video going,
The jeans.
Yeah.
It was the jeans, right?
Uh-huh. It was the jeans. It was the leather jacket. It was the scruffy face. I love me a scruffy face and a beard.
Okay.
Like, and the whole Superman thing with Christopher Reeve. Oh, because I've loved Superman my whole life.
Yeah.
And when you first see him, it just, there was no, like, he was still built. And I just remember going, there he is.
Yeah, there's no CGI.
No. But then Henry Cavill wasn't even on my radar until Adam took me to go see him, and he comes up out of the water after saving the oil rig.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally went, holy shit.
That's fucking Superman right there.
And Adam goes, I'm sitting right here. Yeah, you're fine. Who is that? That's why I have problems. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They had the perfect cast with Justice League. I will go see the new Superman, but I have reservations.
I'm exactly the same way. I feel exactly the same way. I like the trailer. It's going to be a little bit more funny. I don't mind that, but to me, there are only two Supermans.
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. And,
That's it.
And I'm sorry, Henry's number 2.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve will always be
number 1.
My Superman.
Yeah. Do you know, so I will tell you this since we're having a discussion, and I've said this repeatedly. I think it's really interesting. And Henry Cavill said the same thing in an interview, which is why I like him so much for him being Superman. So in all the iterations of Superman, you never once ever have seen him have the question of, am I doing more harm than good? Ever. It's always, I'm for justice and I'm great and I'm doing all this stuff and I'm for humanity. Never once had I ever seen, but I always wondered, does he ever wonder that? Does he ever think maybe if I didn't intervene, things would be better off? Until Man of Steel, where Henry Cavill and Kevin Costner, and he's talking to Lois Lane, and he says to her, my dad often wondered if I was doing more harm than good. And I remember wanting to go, finally, in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Finally, somebody fucking, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
and then him saying in an interview that he had the same thought, and that's why they put it in there. And it was like, thank you.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always had problems with DC versus Marvel. Is Marvel characters usually have some sort of, you've got Peter Parker, who is Spider-Man, who is one of the strongest superheroes. He's still a teenage kid who is trying to get through life and doesn't know.
Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man.
Dealing with acne. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a kid. And then Superman, as much as I love Christopher Reeve and I love that movie and I will watch it to the day I die, I'm not a big Superman fan because I don't like good guys with all the biggest powers in the world except for maybe one weakness.
Well, I even think Ben Affleck did a hell of a job as Batman.
Oh,
because he played a version of Batman I had never seen before, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, well, that when it comes to Batman, is anybody can be Bruce Wayne.
Anybody can be Bruce Wayne.
Everybody who has played Batman, their Bruce Waynes were either really great or okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton,
yeah. His Bruce Wayne was great, but it's playing Batman.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I love Mike. I'm going to be in the minority.
I love Michael Keaton. That was my first Batman.
I love Michael Keaton's Batman, but he is not my Batman.
Who's your Batman?
Subtract the voice.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale is
really?
Yeah, because Nolan took those movies and made what superhero movies should be. To me, The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger is the greatest comic book movie ever
greatest
made. Strictly my opinion.
Ever.
Heath Ledger is the best Joker ever. He is my Joker. And when it comes to bad guys, it's, as much as I love Marvel, it comes down to his Joker and Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Because if I was to ever turn evil, it would be a cross between those two.
The problem with DC's right now is they keep choosing shitty villains.
Yeah.
The Justice League, that was a great villain. I think that was the first one that was a really good villain with all the square. That was great. But then you have the what's the one with Harley Quinn and all of them.
Birds of Prey.
Yeah, well, the one before that.
Oh, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad. They had the witch. I had never even heard of her. And then in the second one, they had the starfish. Like, are you fucking kidding me with that shit?
Well, DC.
And then in the first Wonder Woman, fantastic. Second Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Most guys were just going to see Gal Gadot.
Yeah. Like, Cheetah and what?
Oh, that's right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
So
Kristen Wiig.
Stop picking shitty villains. You have a plethora of villains to choose from that are brilliant. Stop it.
Well, the one I feel has been underused and is one of my favorite bad guys also is the Riddler.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like they really screwed up with Paul Dano in the most recent Batman with
Oh,
Glittery Vampire. I hate to call him that, but
Robert Pattinson.
yeah,
I liked
I,
Robert Pattinson as Batman.
I did too. I liked the movie. It's a little too long. They need to cut about 30 minutes out of it, shorten it down a little bit from 900
Who did the
hours.
Riddler? I can't remember.
It was Paul Dano who played the dad in the most recent Spielberg movie, The Fablemans. Um,
I gotta look him up now because I
what else?
can't remember.
He was in that movie, the made-for-TV movie with Benicio del Toro, and Ben Stiller directed it, about the true story about the two guys who escaped prison with the help of that female.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He was the other convict.
Oh yeah, I love Paul Dano.
Yeah, he is a great actor.
I love
but
him.
I think they just dropped the ball on the Riddler in that, because
I can see that.
I don't like the Jim Carrey Riddler.
No,
It's over the top.
Yep.
It's
That's-
Batman the TV show, which I love, but let's separate it.
That's not the same thing.
I want a serial killer Riddler. I want dark, evil, blends in.
Yes.
The Paul Dano was he was a little too
Nice.
crazy.
Yeah. And the Riddler's not crazy. He's maniacally intelligent.
Yes.
I think the TV show Gotham, the guy who played the Riddler in that, did a superb job.
Yeah. It bled Batman the TV show
A little
some.
bit, but I still think he did a good job with what, Man, I'm so funny but I think that's my honest opinion about a lot of the villains in DC versus the villains in Marvel. It's just a better villain in Marvel. They pick better villains.
Yeah.
It's
It's
although Zoe's gonna come after me about the Starfish because she fucking loves that movie.
okay.
She loves the comedic. What is the word that she used? The dorky, goofy nature of it. I'm just like, ugh, no.
Yeah, well, that's also with DC's The Watchmen.
I loved that. Oh,
The graphic novel was written by Alan Moore.
I love that graphic novel.
And that was the climax, was this squid kind of starfish kind of creature.
It's like the turtle in It.
Oh,
like what the hell?
Oh, you mean that's two different things.
I know, but you get to all that point and you're like, what?
Well, are you talking about in the book?
Yeah.
The turtle is absolutely one of my favorite parts of that book.
Really?
I love the turtle.
Why?
And I was disappointed that, as much as I love the remake of It.
Oh, I love the remake. It's fantastic.
I wanted to see the turtle.
Really?
I love that turtle.
Why?
I love the poem that he wrote for it. Oh God, I used to know it. It was the first two lines. This is Earth that sits on shell. I forgot how it goes.
Jessica and I watched a movie the other day, and we were super into it. It was called The Gorge, and it's got Miles Teller and what's her face. Loved it.
Anna Joy.
Yeah, until they showed the monsters. And you're like, what?
I don't know.
I was totally into it until they showed them. Because my imagination was doing 10,000 times worse. And then when they showed it, I just kind of had this, what?
I like that movie.
Oh, I loved it, but it had me going until they showed the monster. Once they showed the monster, it eroded any fear I had been building up in my head about it, and it was just what?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good. That's just me.
No, I liked it, and I mean, but it just that was one of the things for me that I could have done without you showing it. Let me. Wait in my...
Or at least kept it from you a little longer.
Yeah. Just...
It's like Jaws.
It was the letdown.
It's like Jaws. that the only reason that they didn't show Jaws as much during the first 3/4 of the film is
Because
because
it wasn't working.
it kept breaking down, and it actually worked in their favor.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it kept people from
It's
going
one of the
into
things
the
that I
water.
like about Stephen King so much is, and you do the same thing. And so does Dietrich Stogner with his book, Frostbite. You guys all do that thing where you give just enough detail for your brain to take over, and then you're moving on. Meanwhile, your brain is going, ah!
Yeah.
And I think that's a brilliant way to lead the reader where you want them to go, and they go, have fun with that. Meanwhile, over here.
Yeah, for me, I can't speak for Diedrich, but myself, sometimes it's just, a lot of times it's just organic.
Yeah.
It's like you're following a path and you can only see like 3 feet in front of you.
Well, the way he describes his monsters in the book and the very first lead up to it, I literally was sitting on the edge of my chair going, oh my God. Oh my God. I was so tense that I was white knuckle gripping the book because the scene in which you see them and the way they're introduced. Holy crap. And I remember calling him going, dude, I can't sleep. Thanks.
That would have ended up a quote in my book, in my next book. Dude, I can't sleep. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right at the top.
Damn it. Yeah, because it was just the way he introduced it was slow and just minute little detail. Oh my God. But you do that too, so.
Well, I try.
Yeah.
I try.
It's really, really good. Well, we are almost out of time. You and I can always just sit and talk for hours. Most of our podcasts are just you and I bullshitting each other.
And that's fun.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you coming.
Thank
when
you
is
very
your next
much.
book release?
October of
Okay.
this year.
Be on the watch out for October because we're going to have a early release party.
It's Malinville Upheaval.
I'm so excited.
It's big things happen.
Yes.
We'll just say that.
I'll be caught up. I promise.
Okay. I thought you said you already read them.
I've read the first one.
Okay. Remnants is a...
I don't have time to read all the things that I want to read. But once I finish the one that I'm currently on, yours is next on my pile. Because I've started pulling books and stacking them on my nightstand in the order I want to read. So it's the one that I'm working on right now, and then yours is right under.
Okay.
Because otherwise I get distracted.
I'll take that. Oh, yeah. I tell you what, if you don't have at least 2 or 3 stacks of unread books by your bed,
I have an
you don't have
entire
enough.
bookshelf in my bedroom of books I haven't read that are now double layers.
Yeah. They're nice and long, and then you have to put them on top.
Yeah, because people
yeah.
got me books for my birthday this year. Books and other things that we're not going to discuss for my birthday this year.
Why did my mind just go there?
It went exactly where it probably should have. So
Yeah, okay. So I guess the last thing I'll say is... so, I don't know if that came up.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for hanging with us. Please like, follow, and subscribe and share. And I hope you enjoy the just random conversation with Loyd and I. I think we're going to have to do one every single season now because we've done one this will be the second time this season. I had you twice in the first season.
Well, we'll call it Tangent Talk.
Yes. Yes. All right, you guys, have a great day. Thank you so, so much.